very much for joining us this evening. If you'll please rise and join us for the invocation and pledge.
Lord, thanks for bringing us here together to make decisions for the betterment of our community. Please bless those serving here and abroad to make our country a better place, and be with our first responders and keep them safe. It's in your name we pray. Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I would like to mention, actually, we had a member of the extended family pass away over the holidays. Sam Thomas, most of you know, has been with Fuchs Energy for probably 30 plus years, and his lovely wife Ann passed away unexpectedly. So if I could ask you just join me while seated in a moment of silence for Ann Thomas. Thank you very much. Can you go ahead and call the meeting to order? Madam Clerk, will you get a roll call, please?
Councilmember Doherty. Here. Councilmember Dumont. Here. Councilmember Golding. Here. Councilmember Hoffman. Here. Councilmember Nichols.
Here.
Councilmember Vogelsang.
Here.
Mayor Latham.
Here. And number one, please.
I move that we,
Here.
I move that we approve the minutes of the council briefing held on December 16th, 2019.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion from the council? Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? By your action, motion carries. Number two.
I move that we approve the minutes of the regular council meeting held on December 16th, 2019.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion from the council? Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? By your action, motion carries. Announcements. Who's got announcements? It's been a long time we've been away. Ms. Coleman.
Thank you, Mayor. I wanted to mention I had the honor of visiting Mrs. Johnson's class. She's an Neptune Beach Elementary School teacher, and she does the first Lego League. And they integrate Legos, robotics, programming, and core values to learn problem solving and teamwork. So their project was to solve a problem that happens, a problem that they know about in their community. So the problem they wanted to solve was the pier, the repair of the pier. And so they did this presentation, and it was really great. They had built a mock-up of a solution with Legos, and they realized their solution wasn't going to work, so they did some more research, and they actually came up with a really good idea to recommend some decking that has holes in it so that the water could actually go through the decking as opposed to like making the wood decking fly off, which is what happened. So anyway, the kids did a great job, and I really enjoyed seeing what they did and how creative they were, and they even showed off their robots. They had some robots, and they're going to be competing this Saturday. And so I wanted to wish them a lot of luck, but they were a great bunch of kids, and Ms. Johnson's doing a great job, and I really enjoyed it. So I think they are called RoboSharks, so go Team RoboSharks.
Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Hoffman?
I just wanted to say, I'm sure you'll mention this too, Mayor, but there were some really great events over the weekend in honor of Martin Luther King. And it started on Saturday with a breakfast at St. Paul's by the Sea Episcopal that was very well attended. I think they had over 200 people, and churches from all throughout the area helped to put that together. And then there was a prayer vigil after that in the sanctuary there. And then was it Sunday? I can't keep track of what day it is today. Sunday evening there was also a service at St. Andrew's AME, which is
Was it Sunday?
I don't know what day it is either, but St. Andrew AME hosted a service there, and it was just really well done, and Reverend Simmons leads that congregation, but again, he had many other members of area clergy, and Lily Sullivan, who I'm sure a lot of you know, really worked hard on all of those events and helped put those together, and they were all just very well done, very inspirational, and led to some great community conversations.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Nichols.
Just went out to the golf course, and I believe we got about 157 trees through the City of Jacksonville Tree Mitigation Program, which is about a $300,000 value at no cost to the City of Jacksonville Beach. And I think it's trees look fantastic. They did a good job placing them and selecting the trees that are going to go in, and I think it will really help the golf course.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Dumont.
Thank you. Yes, the MLK director, St. Andrews, did an excellent job, and thank you, Lily. Wonderful. Reminder, Jacksonville Beach is doing visioning sessions for the future of the city and how you expect to see them. They start this Thursday. You can go online, you'll see the different dates that are available. They're going to be small focus groups, and we really want your input as to what you see the future of the city being. And back to December, deck the chairs, great job, Curtis. I hope everybody had a chance to enjoy that. And I really enjoyed the holiday celebrations and the lunch with the city staff, so thank you very much for that, Mike. And what was the holiday thing? It was a train. Polar Express.
Can't call it Polar Express, I know.
Okay. And finally, I want to thank the citizens of Jacksonville Beach for paying for the EMO, and that is the Institute of Elected Municipal Officers training that I went to from January 10th to 12th, right down the road on JTV, while other elected officials throughout the state had to stay in the hotel. I got to go home every night, but it was very convenient and very well done training. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. And we already covered Martin Luther King pretty well, but once again, they just do a great job. And Bishop Percy Golden is the driving force behind the prayer vigil and the loved community concept, which is all three of us working together to create a better place for our families to live, work, and play. I also had the opportunity to, for the third or fourth time, to honor the National Elementary Honor Society kids at Jacks Beach High School, or Jacks Beach Elementary School. So congratulations to them. And also the deck the chairs. I'm just, wow. I mean, what a great year, Curtis. You're not here, I don't think, but I heard 100 people talking to me about the tuba concert and how much they loved it. So I unfortunately missed that part, but very well done, Curtis. So, okay, we're going to move forward to courtesy of the floor. We've got one card from Ken Marsh. Ken, if you come forward, give us your name and address. You'll have 3 minutes, sir.
Excuse me, Ken Marsh, 2011 Gale Avenue. I would be remiss if I started the year off without talking about the downtown. Before I do that, I said I drive around the community, and we just have so many great things regarding this town, whether it be the dog park, our parks, the shopping. I've got Whole Foods coming right across the street from me. The medical facilities, fantastic, but our downtown needs work. I passed out the safety data for the end of the year. 700 arrests last year. That's 80 felonies, 620 misdemeanors in 1 year. The facts are, these are not the citizens here at Jacks Beach. They come across the beach to frequent our downtown. Now, since 2013, we have tripled the number of dedicated CAPE officers. We have doubled our budget. We've got $1.2 million we're spending downtown. The police are doing a fantastic job in protecting us. But we still have a reputation for being a bar town. And we have a reputation for bringing these bad people across the beach, and this is to the beach. And this is not just a downtown issue. We don't have a fence around the downtown. This can bleed into our community. So what am I asking here? that we have 500 hotels coming within the next 2 to 4 years, right in the middle of our downtown. And I know many of you will say it's a great thing, and I hope it is. I hope we figure out how to leverage that and get the restaurants and the shops that the people have asked for. That's what their citizens are asking for. But if these 500 hotels are coming, and we know they are, a couple of things. One is, how are we going to protect the citizens in this interim until we leverage those hotels and get the restaurants and shops that we're looking for? And I know I just came from the CRA meeting. We hope that by the end of the year, we'll have a vision plan, but it needs to get executed ASAP so that we can start having an exit strategy for our police department where instead of adding more CAPE officers, that we're reducing our CAPE officers. And some of these officers can go home to their family on Friday and Saturday nights and be home with their kids on the weekends. So I ask you, please, once we get this vision strategy, have a sense of urgency. Let's get this thing moving. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. One thing I forgot to mention, for those in the audience, if you would put your phones on vibrate, and then council members, remember to put yours in the airplane mode. Moving on to agenda item 3.
I move that we appoint Jeff Trular or reappoint Jeff Trular to the Board of Adjustment.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Discussion here is the council has a responsibility to keep primary and alternate members of the Board of Adjustment as well as other boards within our city. And we did, actually I was the only one that turned up for Jeff's interview. Jeff is a recurring member of the Board of Board of Adjustment, has done a very good job, very enthusiastic, and I wholeheartedly support his reappointment. Ms. Golden.
I was unable to attend the interview, but I was able to get the recording from the city clerk. Like Ms. Dumont and Mr. Nichols, I was at the Institute for Elected Municipal Officials, but I do support Mr. Trular. I think he's done a good job, and I do support him being back on the Board of Adjustment.
Thank you, ma'am. Any other comments from the council? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Doherty?
Yes.
Councilmember Demott?
Yes.
Councilmember Golding?
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman?
Yes.
Councilmember Nichols?
Yes.
Councilmember Vogelsang?
Yes.
Mayor Latham?
Yes, moving on to number 4, please.
I move that we reappoint Brandon Maresma to serve as a trustee as the 5th member on the General Employees Retirement System Board, new 2-year term to expire December 1st, 2021.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, and this, do you want to talk about this? And this is pretty much the same thing. This is a 5th person for the board. My understanding is that they're selected by the members of the current members of the board, and that this is a cursory approval from the council. So, does anybody have any discussion about this, or? Okay, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilmember Demott?
Yes.
Councilmember Golding?
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman?
Yes.
Councilmember Nichols?
Yes.
Councilmember Vogelsang?
Yes.
Councilmember Doherty?
Yes.
Mayor Latham?
Yes, and number 5, please.
I move that we accept the monthly financial reports for the month of December 2019.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion from the council? Ashley, you did it again. Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, will you roll call, please?
Councilmember Golding?
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman?
Yes.
Councilmember Nichols?
Yes.
Councilmember Vogelsang?
Yes.
Councilmember Doherty?
Yes.
Councilmember Demott?
Yes.
Mayor Latham?
Yes, and number 6, please.
I move that we approve the addition of 1 full-time accounting technician in the finance department at an estimated cost of $67,464.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Mr. Stefopoulos.
Adding this second full-time accounting technician actually puts us back to the number of accounting techs that we had going back to over a decade ago, based on the facts that we are currently still in the middle of an ERP implementation. We're dealing with a lot of data coming through the finance department and just our general data crunching in general. This is a position that we feel we need at this point in time. As you can see from the memo, once the ERP for the financial impact gets done, we do anticipate eliminating a part-time position, which will actually put us back to the staffing that we had 11 years ago for operations within the finance department. CFO is here if you have any questions for her, otherwise we recommend approval.
Thank you, sir. Any discussion from the council? Questions? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Hoffman?
Yes.
Councilmember Nichols?
Yes.
Councilmember Vogelsang?
Yes.
Councilmember Doherty?
Yes.
Councilmember Dumont?
Yes.
Councilmember Golding?
Yes.
Mayor Latham?
Yes. Number 7, please.
I move that we approve the dedication to the city and acceptance for maintenance of the public infrastructure improvements for 950 10th Street South Phase 2 as described in the memorandum from the Public Works City Engineer dated January 13th, 2020.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, Mr. Stefopoulos.
This is infrastructure that has been constructed by a private entity, but for dedication to the public. As such, we do not accept it for public operation and maintenance unless this council deems it so. We feel that the work has been done in accordance with our standards, and we also have a warranty bond for the first year in case anything happens to the improvements. Public Works is here if you have any questions for them.
Thank you, sir. Any questions from the council or comments? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Nichols?
Yes.
Councilmember Vogelsang?
Yes.
Councilmember Doherty?
Yes.
Councilmember Dumont?
Yes.
Councilmember Golding? Yes. Councilmember Hoffman?
Yes.
Mayor Latham?
Yes. Number 8, please.
I move that we award city bid number 1920-02 sanitary sewer LS-29 rehabilitation to PBM Constructors, Inc. for construction services and authorize construction administration services with the project design firm Four Waters Engineering, Inc. as described in the memorandum from the Public Works Engineer dated January 13th, 2020.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, Mr. Stefopoulos.
This is for rehabilitation of the lift station that's down by Target at the South End Shopping Center. One of the things we would like to point out is that while the original budget for this project was $300,000, however, we did find out during the course of design that there was additional work that was needed, which is why the cost came in a little bit higher. We do, however, have sufficient funding available in the water and sewer utility funds, and we recommend proceeding with the project at this time.
Thank you, sir. Any questions or comments from the council? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Vogelsang?
Yes.
Councilmember Doherty?
Yes.
Councilmember Dumont?
Yes.
Councilmember Golding? Yes. Councilmember Hoffman?
Yes.
Councilmember Nichols?
Yes.
Mayor Latham?
Yes. Number 9, please.
I move that we approve the mayor and city manager to submit a community development block grant application for fiscal year 2020 to 2021 as described in the memorandum from the Director of Parks and Recreation dated January 10th, 2020.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, Mr. Stefopoulos.
The community development block grants are actually received by the city of Jacksonville, but we are a subrecipient and have the ability to receive some of those funds based on our population. The city uses those funds to actually staff and operate the Carver Center. We recommend doing that again for this upcoming year, and Director Fatides is here if you have any questions.
Thank you, sir. Any questions or comments from the council? Ms. Dumont?
The city manager, Mr. Stefopoulos, made a good point, that these funds and a whole bunch of other funds are done based off of our population, including sales tax from the state of Florida, anything that's funded in Duval County. Please fill out the census. And make sure your friends all fill out the census too, please. Thank you.
Spoken like a professor of municipal science. Okay, any other comments or questions from the council? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Doherty?
Yes.
Councilmember Dumont?
Yes.
Councilmember Golding? Yes. Councilmember Hoffman?
Yes.
Councilmember Nichols?
Yes.
Councilmember Vogelsang?
Yes.
Mayor Latham?
Yes. Madam Clerk, please read resolution number 2048-2020 by title only.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of Jacksonville Beach, Florida, establishing and adopting a code of ethics for public officials, providing for repeal of conflicting ordinances, resolutions, and official decisions, and providing for an effective date.
I move that we adopt resolution number 2048-2020 establishing and adopting a code of ethics for public officials for the city of Jacksonville Beach.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Mr. Stefopoulos?
A few months ago, at one of our council briefings, we presented you with a draft of the council code of ethics. At that time, there was some recommendations that were posed by council, but that was also before we had our new city attorney on board. So with Mr. Ambrosio being on board, we went back and took a look at the document, and we made some changes based on his legal professional opinion in comparison to what we've heard from council. It's summarized in the agenda memo where those changes were made, sections E, G, S, T, and U. Probably the biggest or most substantial change was that the council had requested that any opinions written by the city attorney be binding upon the council. And after having a long conversation with the city attorney about it, we felt that his recommendations should still be legal opinions, and that if there was a binding nature that was sought, that the either the action of the council would speak as a binding agent, or I think as the city attorney has indicated, the State Commission on Ethics can also issue legal and binding opinions. So we would recommend those two routes in the event that council was looking for anything binding. So with that, we're both open for any questions that you may all have on this particular document.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Golden?
Thank you, Mayor. I really appreciate that we have this before us tonight, because I think it's really important, and I think it's going to be important for all of our appointed and board members. I do have one comment as I was reading through this in section R, notice to council. It currently reads, should either the city attorney or city manager become aware of potential conflicts with this code? And I discussed this with the city manager earlier today, and to me, it seems that we also have section S, which is notice from council, where the council can actually initiate something, but we don't have any language that actually says that any of our officials, like our appointed board members, can initiate something with regard to a potential conflict. So I'd like for us to consider amending this language to say, should any public officials become aware of potential conflicts with this code, they may bring attention to the city manager, city attorney, or city council. Something to that effect. Mike, do you remember what we were discussing earlier?
What we talked about was along those lines,
Yeah.
to make sure that the appointed officials or any board members who also read this document would understand that if something was brought to their attention, they had the authority and an obligation to bring it forward to the appropriate parties as well. And right now, the document is silent to that. So we did talk about, should any public official become aware of potential conflicts with this code, you can put in there, it shall be brought to the city attorney or city manager, whereby a written document shall be prepared by either or both parties detailing the facts, or they could bring it directly to any of the appointed officials, the city manager, city attorney, or the city council directly. It really comes down to however you'd like that phrased, if that's a change you'd like to make.
Since this is, goes well beyond Scrivener error type, do we want to table this for the next meeting and let the city attorney have an opportunity to put the language together? I'm seeing a heavy nod from the city attorney. Okay.
So I move to table this so that the city attorney can incorporate my requested change.
Motion on the floor. Second. Got a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Wait, sorry, I didn't get to that one. Do we want to see if there's any other changes before we table it, just so we don't have to keep going back one at a time? I don't have any, but just in case there's more.
Was there anyone else?
Okay, good.
Okay, all in favor, please, tabling to the next meeting. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? By your action, motion carries. Okay, number 11, I'm sorry. Madam Clerk, please read resolution number 2049-2020 by title only, please.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of Jacksonville Beach, Florida, establishing the rate for attorney fees to be sought by the city attorney for reimbursement
under the city charter, chapter 6, section 37, and as authorized by controlling case law.
I move that we adopt resolution number 2049-2020, directing the city attorney to seek reimbursement of the city attorney's legal services at the prevailing reasonable hourly rate in which City Beaches Energy Services and the police department are a party.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, Mr. Stavropoulos.
This was an item brought to the council by the city attorney a couple of briefings ago, where he has the ability to seek reasonable rates for his legal time during the course of litigation in defending the city or prosecuting for the city. He's here to answer any questions if you have any.
I took a phone call from somebody that was concerned that this was money that was going into your pocket. This is money that's going into the city coffers that you're asking to elevate the price for. Is that correct?
That's right, Mayor. It's actually going to be, if all goes to plan, it would be those parties that have opposed or sued the city, and in cases where we're the prevailing party, those parties are putting the money back in the city coffer.
Okay, great. Thank you, sir. Any other questions or comments from the council? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Dumont?
Yes.
Councilmember Golding?
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman?
Yes.
Councilmember Nichols?
Yes.
Councilmember Vogelsang?
Yes.
Councilmember Doherty?
Yes.
Mayor Latham?
Yes. Okay, Madam Clerk, please read ordinance number 2019-8130, second reading, public hearing by title only, please.
An ordinance amending Chapter 8 Cemeteries of the City of Jacksonville Beach, Florida, Code of Ordinances by amending Section 8-1, lots purchase easement form, providing for findings, deleting the term lineal, adding the term collateral heirs, revising the purchase easement form, providing for severability, providing for repeal of conflicting ordinances, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you, ma'am. And this is a public hearing, so at this time, this ordinance is before the council for public hearing and consideration on its second reading. I'll now open the public hearing on ordinance number 2019-8130 for public comment. Does anybody have anything they'd like to bring up? Seeing none, I'm closing the public hearing, and we're going to request a motion to adopt.
I move to adopt ordinance 2019-8130 following its second reading to revise the form of burial easement to eliminate reference to lineal descendants and add collateral heirs to enable transfer of burial rights to all descendants and collateral heirs as described in the memorandum from the Director of Parks and Recreation dated December 23, 2019.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. This is the second reading. Is there any additional comments or questions from the council? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Golding?
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman?
Yes.
Councilmember Nichols?
Yes.
Councilmember Vogelsang?
Yes.
Councilmember Doherty?
Yes.
Councilmember Dumont?
Yes.
Mayor Latham?
Yes. Okay, Madam Clerk, please read ordinance number 2020-8131, first reading, public hearing by title only, please.
An ordinance amending Chapter 34, Article 4, Section 34-41, and Article 8, Division 2, Section 34-392 of the Land Development Code of Ordinances of the City of Jacksonville Beach, Florida, amending the definition of household pets to include female chickens, and amending the site development standards, accessory uses, and structures to permit female chickens in residential zoning districts, adding cats, dogs, hamsters, and birds as example household pets, providing for the repeal of all ordinances and official acts in conflict with this ordinance, providing for severability, providing for codification, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Stavropoulos, do you have anything you want to add to the reading? Any comment?
Just wanted to add that these next two items, this one that we're discussing and the next one, are companion items. In order to make the appropriate adjustment, this first ordinance would seek to amend the city's land development code. The second ordinance would be to change the code of ordinances. As you can see, there are 2 motions that are associated with each. However, whatever motion is taken on the first item, it is suggested that the same motion be taken on the second item. We do have Heather Ireland, our senior planner, here if you have any questions regarding the results of the Planning Commission meeting or anything else that you might want to ask.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, this ordinance for the amendment of Land Development Code is before this council for a public hearing and consideration on its first reading. Under the laws of the state of Florida, an ordinance which changes the actual listed permitted, conditional, or prohibited uses within a zoning category, or which otherwise changes the text of the Land Development Code, is a quasi-legislative proceeding. A quasi-legislative proceeding means the governing body is acting in its rulemaking capacity. It is the duty of the council to arrive at sound decisions regarding the use of property within the city. This includes receiving citizen input regarding the proposed uses within a zoning category. The application has been reviewed by staff and by the Planning Commission for consistency with other portions of the Land Development Code and Comprehensive Plan. The council may hear from all interested parties in the legislative determination of an amendment to the text of the Land Development Code. The council's decision on a text amendment application is based on the criteria set forth in section 34-211 of the Land Development Code. Each member of the council has been provided a copy of that criteria. I'll now open the public hearing on ordinance number 2020-8131. I don't have any speaker cards. Is there anybody that'd like to address the council concerning this item? Okay, I'm going to close the public hearing. And before requesting a motion on this ordinance, beginning with myself, each of the members is requested to indicate for the record both the names of persons and any substance of any ex parte communication regarding the application. An ex parte communication refers to any meeting or discussion with a person or citizen who may have an interest in the decision which occurred outside of the public hearing process. I can state that I have had no one contact me about this ordinance. And we'll start down with Mr. Nichols.
I've had no ex parte communication.
None.
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 I have spoken with Alexis Gamble. She contacted me and supports the legislation that we're considering tonight. I also spoke with Katrina Lane, who supports this legislation, and Lindsay Haga. And I spoke with them personally and over the phone.
Okay, I'm going to request a motion to approve the ordinance as read by title.
I move that we adopt ordinance number 2020-8131 to amend sections 34-41 and 34-392 of the Jacksonville Beach Land Development Code related to permitting hens as household pets.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Before opening the floor for discussion or questions by the council, please be reminded that our decision will be based on the criteria set forth in the Land Development Code staff report, the recommendation of the Planning Commission, and all public input at these hearings. This time I open the floor to the council members. Is there anybody that'd like to address this? Ms. Golding.
The only thing I would add is that after talking with the 3 ladies that I mentioned earlier, I did some research. I looked at what Atlantic Beach has and what Neptune Beach has and what Jacksonville has, and what we're proposing is in line with what our sister communities have, so I certainly don't have any issues with it. I feel it's in line, and it's not out of bounds by any means, so I will be supporting it.
Anybody else? I'm just going to say I'm against this. I wasn't here when you guys talked about it in council briefing. I had a doctor's appointment, but I can't imagine anybody wanting to live next door to a bunch of chickens and listening to the noise and smelling the poop. So I'm going to be a no vote. And one of the things that I would ask you to consider, and I'm not making a formal motion, if somebody wants to, that's fine, but maybe turning this into a pilot program where we give it a year to see if it works well and doesn't impact negatively the citizens in the community. And then we can make it a permanent program, permanent ordinance if it succeeds through the pilot program. And I don't see any motions. I don't see any more comments or questions. So Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilmember Hoffman? Yes. Councilmember Nichols?
Yes.
Councilmember Vogelsang?
Yes.
Councilmember Doherty?
Yes.
Councilmember Demott?
Yes.
Councilmember Golding?
Yes.
Mayor Latham?
No. And we're moving on to number 14, please. Oh, wait a minute, I'm sorry. Madam Clerk, please read ordinance number 2020-8132, first reading, public hearing by title only, please.
An ordinance of the City of Jacksonville Beach, Florida, amending Chapter 5, Animals and Fowl, adding Article 4, Backyard Hens, providing purpose and intent, providing definitions, providing for general requirements, requiring permits, providing for permitted zoning locations, providing for enforcement, providing for severability, providing for repeal of conflicting ordinances, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Stefopoulos, you've already discussed this. Did you have anything else to add?
No.
Okay. This ordinance is before the council for a public hearing and consideration on its first reading. I'll now open the public hearing on ordinance number 2020-8132. Is there anybody from the public that would like to address this issue? Seeing no one, close the floor, or to close the public hearing, and request a motion to adopt.
I move that we adopt ordinance number 2020-8132 to amend Chapter 5, Animals and Fowl of the City Code of Ordinances, creating a new subsection related to regulating the keeping of hens as household pets on residential property.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, any discussion from the council? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Nichols?
Yes.
Councilmember Vogelsang?
Yes.
Councilmember Doherty?
Yes.
Councilmember Demott?
Yes.
Councilmember Golding?
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman?
Yes.
Mayor Latham?
No. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes tonight's meeting. This is adjourned. Have a great night. Thanks for being with us.